Almost everybody has heard of a concussion, but most can only say that it has to do with the brain. The real question is, what is a concussion?
It's in glow, but basically the brain sits inside the skull in a fluid, kind of like the egg yolk in an egg. And it's usually from a change of direction. In being in that fluid, the brain just isn't going to stop. It's like, so it's going to hit into the inside part of the skull. And so you get bruising on the brain. And that's when we start having concussions, because of the brain changing in direction of a person and the brain kind of sloshing around and then getting beat up inside the skull.
Although it may seem like the concern about concussions has risen over the past few years, this is not the case.
Concussions have always been a concern. I think they're starting to get more press, definitely more press through the NFL, and there's been a trickle-down effect from the NFL to colleges and now into high school. But they've always been a concern.
When diagnosing a concussion, doctors need to look for a variety of symptoms.
There's a lot of different little signs and symptoms, but the major ones we look for are things like the headaches and the nausea, dizziness, change in attitude, personality changes. Sometimes you'll get super tired. You know, there's a lot of things on the extreme that people say, well, you know, I never passed out, I don't have a concussion, and that's not true. There's a lot of little precursors that are important to understand.
Damaging your brain with a concussion can be a dizzying and scary process. NEQA senior Lauren Noonan shares her experience.
Well, my first one was freshman year, and I was at NEQA practice, and we were doing corner kicks, and the ball came, and I don't clearly remember, but I think I headed the ball, and then I fell and hit the back of my head on the ground. And I actually just felt like a headache. I saw the trainer at the school we were at, and they told me I had a concussion.
The research is showing that there are approximately 300,000 reported concussions, 300 to 500,000 reported concussions a year. But I think the scary part of that is they're also estimating that only 1 in 10 are going reported. So we could be looking at anywhere between 3 million to 6 million concussions occurring per year. You know, you can play through a sprained ankle or a sprained knee and, you know, other bumps and bruises and things of that nature. But it comes to your brain and the lasting effects it can have on brain injuries, you know, you have to use some common sense here a little bit.
So use your brains, no pun intended, and be smart about how you handle your injuries. For NEQA Replay, I'm Jack Cordy.